will Republicans and honest Democrats, and there may be one or two because you never know come election time, take a stand against this corruption and refuse to fund it and say, we're going to shut the government down until you stop violating Donald Trump's civil rights, until you get an honest special counsel criminal investigation going, until we have impeachment done. Well, how about that? I think our pressure is working in some regards because however scandalous his reasons for doing it were and what the results are going to be, they admitted that they're behind the eight ball today because it was just announced that Attorney General Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden and crimes arising from Hunter Biden's activities. And who did they appoint as special counsel, though? U.S. Attorney Weiss up in Delaware, the guy responsible for the sweetheart plea deal. And this is a statement I made in response to this development. Attorney General Garland folded today, in part, stopped ignoring DOJ regulations, and finally appointed a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden and indirectly President Joe Biden for the corrupt family business dealings. But appointing U.S. Attorney Weiss as special counsel, a man who tried to unethically slide Hunter's corrupt plea deal past a federal judge, is a sick joke. In fact, Mr. Weiss should be under investigation for his dishonest statements to Congress and his compromised sweetheart plea deal for Hunter Biden. Given the powerful and unrefuted testimony before Congress by senior IRS investigators that the criminal investigations of Hunter were obstructed by the Justice Department when Weiss was nominally running the investigation in order to protect Joe Biden. Weiss is the last person who should be special counsel. Congress should speed up and escalate its investigations of Biden corruption, as the Justice Department, as I noted, is ethically broken. In the meantime, as I keep on saying, Judicial Watch will continue its leadership role, investigating and exposing the worsening Biden corruption crisis through numerous FOIA and other federal and state legal actions. And we've been pushing on the FBI's cover-up for Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. And Weiss, as you may recall, is a U.S. attorney, right? And according to the special counsel regulations, a U.S. attorney can't be a special counsel because it has to come from outside of government. The appointment does. Now, because it's regulations, I get Garland thinks he can do whatever he wants. But it just shows you what a circus-like atmosphere and criminals aren't all that smart, right? And they kind of just do whatever they need to do to get by day to day. And that's what Garland's doing here. And the Republicans in Congress are furious because Weiss was supposed to be testifying in a week or two, and they're thinking that they won't be able to get him to testify because he's now, quote, a special counsel. And on top of everything else happening, this is all happening almost today, right? The special counsel or the Biden Justice Department, of course, they're all part of the same Borg over there. They tell the court up in Delaware, who was kind of tough on them by highlighting their skullduggerous plea deal and asking questions about it, which resulted in that plea deal with Hunter Biden collapsing, that, they said in a court filing today, it turns out that venue up in Delaware, that court up in Delaware, we shouldn't have filed those tax claims up there against Hunter. We're going to file them elsewhere. What is going on over in the Justice Department? Weiss should not be U.S. Attorney. Garland should not be Attorney General. And yet, late on a Friday, they are essentially cementing their hold that we know is corrupted over the Biden investigations, while concurrently asking a judge to engage in unprecedented supervision and management of the speech of a presidential candidate, Donald Trump. So what is Congress going to do when I say they need to accelerate and increase and escalate their investigation? Are they going to do impeachment? I don't know. McCarthy said that he was interested, or he said it was rising to the level of impeachment inquiry. Everyone got all excited, and so he backed away. So this is what I think you need to do. You need to call Congress and tell them to listen to Judicial Watch. 202-225-3121. And you should demand action. This is, I'm kind of half joking there. But they there are many members of Congress who know what I've been saying, and they basically shrug their shoulders and say, oh, there's nothing we can do whenever I raise the issue. You can demand impeachment. You can demand criminal referrals. You can demand funding cuts. They can target specific employees who are involved in this misconduct and fire them effectively by defunding their positions. There are all sorts of things that can be done, and they can be done over the next few months. Because what's going to happen over the next few months is what is essentially an annual funding fight, because Congress is unable to agree on specific funding bills. It's typically the government is, well, the way things are supposed to work is that the various agencies are funded in separate appropriations bills. That rarely ever happens anymore. Okay, I don't think it's happened effectively for 10, 15 years at this point. And so what happens is Congress from year to year just looks at what they spent last year or the prior year and adds a little bit of money to it, and then just votes en masse for the entire funding of the federal government. Now, I know it's a little more nuanced than that, but that's generally what's happening. It's what they call these omnibus spending bills. And so when you hear government shutdown talk happen is when conservatives typically say, we don't want to play that game. We want actual policy reform tied to our spending authority, because that's the way the Constitution is supposed to work. That's how Congress, the people's house, the people's representatives in the Senate, are supposed to exercise their duties and responsibilities as designated by the people. Instead, they just kind of write a check blindly to the government every year. So this year, will Republicans and honest Democrats, and there may be one or two, because you never know come election time, take a stand against this corruption and refuse to fund it and say, we're going to shut the government down until you stop violating Donald Trump's civil rights, until you get an honest special counsel criminal investigation going, until we have impeachment done. Well, how about that? No government funding until we get impeachment done. Indeed, they could say something like, no government funding until President Biden resigns. Right? And and I say things like that to a member of Congress, or frankly to some of our friends in the movement, and they get very nervous. Because A, they know I'm right technically, but it's so dangerous politically what I'm suggesting they do, which is one of the reasons they don't want to do it. But one way around that issue of it being, quote, dangerous politically is for Americans to make their views known. Because if things go the way they're going, I'm just telling you this, President Trump's going to be in jail next year. That's the plan. He's going to be in jail next year. And the election's done. How do you have a fair election when the leading candidate has been put in jail? It's over. So if you want our republic to continue, I suggest you get on the phone, I don't know, dare I say it, engage in peaceably assemble and engage in protests. And of course, support Judicial Watch, because our voice is essential. You know how I know our voice is essential? The Justice Department hates our guts, and they sent the FBI knocking on my door, and they harassed me and Judicial Watch with subpoenas for documents and things, and I had to go and testify for hours. So they hate us because we're effective. And they hate our voice because we say the truth and tell the truth and highlight the stakes at issue for our Republican form of government. There's no one who tells you as forthrightly, not only because based on my opinion, but based on documents we uncover, what this government is up to. It's our educational method. It's our successful education of the American people that drive them crazy. So if you think what's going on is no big deal, and you know, we have an election rigged and compromised, and in 4 years, you know, no one is able to dispute elections anymore for fear of jail. The censorship of Americans continue, and we've lost our liberties. And you know, we're all supposed to. You know, I keep. Someone was joking at, it's like Nazi Germany. I said, well, it's not like Nazi Germany. We're going to turn into Canada. I mean, our freedoms will slip and slide away if we don't recognize the threats to them that are occurring right now and do something about it under the law. So that's one of the things we do, and one of, you know, we kind of try to protect the republic under law, and that's through accountability and transparency. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.